Hello, I'm Mickey the Knife. My brother Derek the Spoon couldn't be with us today. This is Board Deck and Dice, and today we are looking at Thieves Market. Thieves Market is out for general release now, though this is a Kickstarter copy, hence one of the only times I have sleeved my game, which is probably going to cause all sorts of reflection problems when we come down and look at the game, so let's do that now. Thieves Market is a bidding game with a cool little dice mechanic that I've not really seen before. So one player, the starting player, will take the starting token. They will roll all the dice. Let's just say I've rolled them like this. They will put the starting token in with the dice, and then they will look at the dice and they will choose how many dice to take. And what they're looking to do with those dice is buy one of these cards at the end of the round. So this one costs a green gem dice, this one costs a red, this one costs a white, this one costs 2 white, and this one costs 2 green. However, they don't want to be too greedy because the other players can steal from them. The other thing they can take as well as dice is the first player token. This is important because it allows them to buy first. So let's say I'm looking at that 2 green because I want to be able to change my future green dice into gold, because gold is wild and lets you buy anything. You start with 1 gold token as well. And I'm going to take that, and just to be cheeky, I'm going to take a infamy, which is basically your victory points that you want at the end, and a gold back. Now the next player might look at that and might say, well, it's obvious he's going for that green one, I don't want that anyway, so I'm going to take these, I shouldn't have done that, but never mind. I'm going to take these 3. The player after this might think, oh, that's a bit too much that you've taken there, player 1, so they steal all my things, except they don't want a person to steal from them, so they say, I'm just going to keep the 2 greens and the first player token, and they roll these again and return them to the pot. If you steal from another player, you must return at least 1 dice to the pot, but you roll it again. All the other players will either take dice from the middle or from another player, and the round ends as soon as a player takes the last dice from the pot, meaning that every player has some dice to play with. You resolve the dice by buying items. So player 1 here would buy this card, they would put those dice back in the middle, keep all of the player tokens for now, and that would be their go over. This player here would only have a white to spend, so they spend that, and then these dice are traded in at the end of the round for a purple for an infamy token and a gold for a wild token. And the game carries on like that. The A deck, once that runs out, you go to the B deck, which are slightly more powerful cards, and then to the C deck. As soon as you can't refresh 5 cards on a C deck, then the game will end. The C deck, what's interesting is that as soon as there's no cards here to refresh, you leave the ones out and then you play out the B deck. So if you don't get much in a round, there's always cheaper cards to buy. All the cards obviously have these icons on the bottom, and each player gets this really well done player aid here. It has on the front setup, so each player gets 1 coin. If there's 3 players, you only use 10 dice, etc., and it tells you how many cards set up in the market. So you're not using all the cards every time. It tells you what happens, splitting the loot, making purchases, and ends of round. And also, it tells you that the most minion cards that if one player has the most minion cards, which have this icon up here, they will get 3 victory points at the end. The second most 1. Most coins gets 3 victory points. On the back is a really clear key to the icons on the bottom, but also on the rear of the instructions is a complete card guide for any uncertainty. So you have all the cards named, and you can see if you're reading the key correctly. That is Thieves Market. I really like this game. I've not quite got a game like it where you're all sharing from the same pot, but you can steal dice off other people. You can employ various strategies of saving up a lot of gold for when those expensive cards come out. You can focus on buying victory point cards. You can focus on cards that interact with other cards. There's cards that let you get victory points every time someone steals a dice from you. So you might start taking dice you don't even want because you know other players want them and you want them to be stolen from you. So you get a chance of getting the dice you really want, but you also get a victory point in the mix. There are cards that combo with each other because of the symbols on the top. So the castle ones often give you more victory points if you get multiples of them. The wand cards, I think it is, give you more victory points if you're the only person who has them. And because you're not putting all the cards in the game at the same time, there is variety there. I've been really, really impressed with this. The intimidation factor I found quite low. It's just a bunch of dice with 4 gems on the sides and then a infamy token or VP and a gold token. All the gems are used for purchasing. The cards let you change gems. There's some powerful early on cards that let you change a certain colour gem into any other colour gem, which can be really useful. And as you build up this tableau in front of you of card powers, you can pretty much manipulate the dice to do whatever you want if you do it right and the other players don't see you doing that. So intimidation factor on the rules, on the setup is low. Where the intimidation factor comes on is the massive amounts of iconography. You can see even on these early cards, they do a good job kind of accounting for this, but you are going to have to, certainly in the early days of playing this game, look at the very least at the player aid and probably delve into the instruction manual for clarity on some of those more combo-y trick cards to work out exactly what they do. It's all there, but you can't ignore that in intimidation factor. The rules are very good, very simple. The one side is just the rules, the back is the explanation of the cards. Fun is really, really high in this game. I recommend it. It's 3 to 5 players. It works well at all of those player counts. There's a little bit of analysis paralysis for some people, especially with the icons coming into it. And I do find that usually my strategy is to buy up a lot of cards. So sometimes, because card powers kick off at different times, you can have a lot of cards in front of you and you're trying to remember all your powers that you have, and you might forget to pick up a victory point because you bought a card with a certain colour gem into your hand. It can get a bit confusing like that at times. Reminding me of Smash Up in that sense. There's a lot of powers going off at one time and you have to have your own system for working out and keeping check on those. But aside from that, very fun game. Thank you for watching Board, Deck and Dice. We'll see you next time.